hello there. I don't know if you guys can see me. Probably not. I'm Sonin. I'm the author of No Job for No Hero, which by this point you guys probably know. I'm back. I'm back inking another page of my comic. This time, since I finished the first chapter, I'm going to start the second one. And well, what better place to start than the beginning? I'm going to start by the first page and the first panel. And I'm gonna ink this one with you. Okay? But this time we're gonna do with a nib pen. Like this little thing with sharp metal and ink. Like the caveman did. Right? And I'm gonna ink this panel, which is the establishing shot for this comic. If you read the first one, you know that it's probably gonna involve goblins. If you have eyes, you also probably seen a goblin here. So this is a goblin then. And this is a special video for my brother Fresno, who said he wanted to see me drawing a city. Well, is this a city enough for you? Is it? Come on. Okay, so let's start. Also, please don't do that. Drinking while driving, it's stupid. But I'm stupid, so it's fine. Anyway. Again, I still have the same limitations that I had the first video. If I even dream about opening Adobe After Effects, my computer will just blow up, so I'll try to make it with the least amount of cuts that I can. Right, which will probably be none. So this will be an entire video of me inking. But now I got lights and I got a better place to put the phone to record it. Is it even recording? I've been talking for 10 minutes already, so will be good. Alright, it's recording. Everything's set. Let's go. So as I mentioned, this is an establishing shot, and I'm just going to mark the borders of this panel because, well, I don't know if you guys can see it properly, but this is kind of a borderless panel. It's not borderless, those are the borders. This part of the page is hidden when I finish the stuff, so you guys don't see it, this line here. So the borders of the panel will be the limits of the cave. That's in fact why it goes until it touches here, this line. Alright? And honestly, it's not even that important that I limit what I'm drawing at this point, because as you can see those marks here, here and here. Sorry, I still got a flu. This entire section will be blacked out, so in the end you guys won't see this line, but just so I know, and just so I don't fuck up when I'm blacking out. Okay, good. When working with nib pens, you gotta use the right tool for the right job. So there's this thing that you gotta be mindful of what you're doing, because you have a way to work. I cannot just work here and go here, because then I will just press my hand on the ink and it will smudge the entire page. So I could just do this, but I would have to leave you guys waiting, which would not be fun, I guess. Or I would have to make a cut, which will not be fun to me. So let's do it the best way for both of us. Alright? Drink. Tastes like a kidney stone. Alright. So respecting that, I'm gonna start here. With this cabin right here. And as you can see, there is a cabin behind it. Let me try not to be that on top of the paper. I feel sometimes that I'm partially blind. And sometimes I don't see the paper, so I have to lay over it. But I'm trying to correct myself here. Alright, so you guys can see what I'm doing. Okay. As you can see, there's some huts behind it, but I can work with this one. And then work here, and when I finish, when this is dried out, I can just go back to the background. Alright, so potato, potato, tomato, tomato. Alright. So, as I mentioned, this is a goblin. Then I've made quite some sketches beforehand. In fact, I actually overworked my pencils here. I usually just guess a lot of my ink work, which is not ideal, but this time I felt like I had to make it right. So I worked my pencils properly here. And this is the original one, which is also a habit of mine, of inking directly on the original one. Or it's basically because I hate using light boxes, and I hate drawing digitally. So my options would be just to take a copy and ink on top of it, or draw on the original, which is what I'm doing. So let's make a pot here. Goblins still have to cook, right? As you can see, this is small. This is very small. I'm using a Touchcolor Maru pen, which is a small nib. And my point here is not to add a lot of detail. I could add a lot of detail, and I could just stress over every single little thing on the page, but that would not make it necessarily a better page, because this is a big page for me. See, this is an A3 paper. Look how my hand feels against it. But for anyone who's reading, it's not gonna be an A3 paper. It's gonna be quite smaller, so stressing over it would be killing myself over details no one but me would see. Then again, I've done this before, and I don't regret it, but not today. Well, look at that. A happy little house. Let's oops, let me not be in front of the camera. I'll have to remind myself of that the entire video. It's weird for me to talk into a camera, but okay, let's do it. Anyway, since I'm recording a video, you guys can see that I'm trying not to turn the page like this and that, especially because I don't have anyone recording with me. I'm all alone, and I would have to get up every time I turn the page and see if you guys can still see it, if I got the page on the proper place. And this will make this take way longer than it should. Okay. Nib pens are one of my favorite tools to work. I like them. I'm an old person. I'm an old guy. I guess I'm 29, but I still feel like a really old person, and I sometimes use inconvenient drawing stuff. It would be way more convenient to use a micron pen or a fine liner, but I'm stubborn and I like it. Let's add some rock formations here. It is what I said. I guess you guys probably don't see it, but I have my hand positioned here just so I don't touch the wet ink. Oh, refreshing. It's so hot right here. You guys have no idea, and I tried not to turn on a fan so you don't get that noise around. Alright. So let's make this post. Yes, I've mentioned on the last video, but I don't like using rulers. I don't think a ruler would make this particularly better, this specific piece. Rulers are fine. I guess a lot of artists like to work with them. I've seen this guy that I actually follow on Instagram. I feel he works the ellipse ruler. I don't know how ellipse ruler it's. How you say ellipse ruler in English. And he uses for every single stroke of his pen. And I really like to enjoy him. Oh, I really like to see him. I enjoy seeing him working. Or her. I don't know. But I wouldn't be able to do it. God. No way. Love it, but sorry, it's not for me, bro. Alright, little cough here. I still got a flu. Okay, oh yeah, the flag. Let's just make the flag. Well, on normal. On normal. Sorry, I sometimes get focused and I forgot what I was saying. Well, on a normal page, using a different type of supply, like some fine liners, like I used last time, I would suggest you guys to do the foreground, then move into the background. But as you can see, I kind of did the opposite here. It's behind this, right? It's obvious, right? If not, then I fucked up. But this is behind this. The reason I'm doing it is because one, I felt like it, and two, is because I'm working with this. Okay. Happy little rock. Can I have a rock be happy? I guess Bob Ross would probably say so. And how about a weapon rack? Okay. Now, well, I work with graphite before on my pencils. I don't know if you guys can see it, but probably yes. You guys probably can see that it's graphite. And if you guys know graphite, and if you guys work with graphite, you guys know that it's shiny. It's not black, it's silver. So, sometimes I can barely see it. So I have to do this. I really feel like sometimes I'm blind as fuck. Alright, ink's done. So, with a pen, when you're working with this kind of pen, you are constantly cleaning it. Because those pens ain't really the most cheap upfront alternative. But they're really durable if you take care of them. So, when it dries, when the ink is over, you just dip in some water, clean it, dry it, start again. Don't just go dipping on the ink again, because then it will get clogged. And not only that, but ink is not the best fluid for steel. It can corrode steel. Okay, I'm gonna break this spear right here. Alright. Look at that. Two nice little spears. Particularly, I think this paper is thin. Is paper thin? Oh, get it? Haha. Well, I think this paper is quite thin, and I do have some. Well, it's supposed to be comic paper right there, but it did not work that good last time. It bled a lot, made my line art all furry. Oh, furry in the sense that it looked like it had fur. Do they say furry in English? I don't think so. Well, as you guys may have noticed, as anyone may have noticed, I am not American. I am not American. I'm not British. English is not my first language. It's actually Portuguese. Because I am Brazilian. And that's why I have this accent. And if you wanna keep watching the video, you'll have to deal with that. I'm not gonna get better. Alright. Let's continue. When I first envisioned this piece, well, I didn't exactly mean to make it this detailed. I'm not good with cities and all. That's why my brother wanna see me drawing. He thinks I'm good. I don't think so. Well, does he think I'm good? Maybe. I'm gonna ask him. I'm gonna call him. But it kind of grew on me as I was making. I felt like, oh, this is right. I feel like a good establishing shot is something that draws your eyes and sets you in the mood. for the rest of the comic. And my comic is a comedy comic. It's a fantasy, but it's comedy comic. So in the end, there will be a joke. In a way that I will be fine if I drew a simple background. It will be totally fine, but putting way more effort into things that don't matter. It's my game, you know? I have a lot of hours on games that are like that. And so is with drawing. Sometimes I just put a lot of effort in things that probably people wouldn't notice. If I guess I showed last time, but this is a remake. I mean, I don't know if it's clear if I mentioned it or not, but this is a remake. I made this comic, No Job for No Hero. I made 3 issues of it a long time ago, like 5 years ago. And it's always been a passion project of mine. I always felt like, oh, I want to do it. But I never felt ready. You guys get it, right? I never felt like I could do it justice. Like I could give life to that idea. I always felt like I was subpar for it. And I still don't think I'm ready. I'm gonna be honest with you. I think I could be way better at this. I think I still make a lot of mistakes. But I won't live forever. And if I don't do it, I'll never do it. I'll just improve forever, I'll study forever, and I'll never finish this comic. So I decided, fuck it. And I guess I mentioned it in the notes in last chapter, that I'd rather it be bad than it never be. And I'm allowed not to be perfect at this. Come on, I have 2 jobs. This is not even like a gig for me. I actually lose money by being here. So okay, so I'm not gonna draw the entire pattern of this carpet, but I'm gonna draw the fringe. I'm gonna draw here. Alright. Okay, I'm gonna deal with that right now. I'm gonna move up here, and I'm gonna start this hut. Well, for that, for the goblins, the goblin den, I try to look for a lot of Warcraft art. I have some art books here. I don't have a Warcraft art book. I have the Tiny Tina. I looked a lot on the Tiny Tina Wonderlands art book to search for references, but they didn't felt quite like how I wanted it. So I felt okay, fuck it. I'm gonna look at Warcraft. Warcraft 3 is a game that I played a lot. I used to like a lot of RTS games when I was younger. I still remember I was alive, man. I was there when Dota 1 was the craze, and I really liked Warcraft 3. And one of my friends were like, oh, let's play some Dota. I was like, the fuck is Dota? And he was like, oh, this Warcraft 3 mode. And I was like, okay, I play Warcraft 3. Why not? Never been beaten so badly at a game. God damn it. We went to a lighthouse. I don't know how you guys. Net coffee, something like that. Anyway, oh man, I miss it. Not the Dota one. I never been to Dota, but I miss those simpler times. Okay, let's make a rope around here. Kids don't drink energy drinks. They're really bad for you. How long have I been here bothering your ears? Oh, right. Oh, God. Almost half an hour. That's a lot. Alright, so let's continue. Okay. Guys, I guess it sounds really cheap if I say, oh, the goal is not to make it perfect. Right? I guess it looks like I'm just trying to find an excuse not to make it perfect. But yeah, the goal is not to make it perfect. I've well, this is something I realized with a lot of artists I know, not only on the drawing, but on a lot of other fields. You are cursed. Especially when it comes to passion projects. You are cursed. Really freaking cursed. You feel like everything needs to be perfect. Every little small detail. And I felt like that too. Every single piece I've made until now, I can point something that I do not like about it. And it's probably something you wouldn't even notice, but I look at it and I'll be like, oh, I don't like this. I don't like that. Alright, look. I don't know if you guys see this, but this is quite dangerous. I overdipped my nib pen, and if I try to, it might just sploosh my page with ink. So I'll just clean it. Dry it. And dip it again. You get really tempted to just put as much ink as you can on it, because the more ink you put, the less you have to dip it again, but that's not how it works. It has a limit, and it really sucks when you're drawing and the nib just unleashes a blob of ink on your page. Some things you can fix it, some are way harder to fix, so yeah, beware. And by the way, I don't want you guys to feel like this is like a tutorial. It's not an art class. I don't feel like I'm qualified to teach you anything. Oops, sorry. I don't feel like I'm like a. I don't feel like I'm really a pro artist. Never felt like. For a long time, I didn't even say I was an artist. I was like, oh, I just draw. I had this resistance to just go, no, I'm an artist, I make art. But still, I don't feel like I'm at pro level. So I don't feel like I'm qualified to teach you. But if you guys want some advice from some unqualified, untrained old fuck, well, here I am. Will YouTube demonetize me? I don't think I can lose the ad revenue from the 5 views that I'm gonna get on this video, so who knows? It's gonna bankrupt me! Oh my god. Alright. Okay, sorry. I sometimes get carried away. Whoops! I did a little fuck up. See it? Yeah! So, nibs have this thing, you can go here, here, here. You cannot go up with a nib. It's only always downstrokes. Because if you do it, like I just did, you're gonna rip your paper. Which, on this case, was a small fissure, but hey, in other cases, it can ruin your entire page. And you wouldn't want that. I wouldn't want that. Okay, so I'm gonna make a little pattern here. Alright, okay. Just slightly. Okay. Happy little square. Oops. Whoa. Well, as I ink this page, well, as of now, I realized that this hut will be way more interesting than this one. This one's just plain weird. It's like plain boring, but. And sometimes it's nice that you put the most interesting element up front. And in this case, it probably would be. But I didn't feel like undoing that, and I didn't feel like repeating, because I started with this one. I started with the foreground, then I moved to the background, as I usually do. I guess you can say this is the middle ground, and this is the foreground. Oh, there's a bug. Get the fuck out of here. I didn't start drawing traditionally just to be bothered by bugs. That's reserved for people who draw digitally. Okay. Alright, alright, alright. It's all coming together. What the fuck is this? Oh. Good. Well, you guys should always work your pencils to a point where you're comfortable with. And as I mentioned, I usually just ink. I have this thing that I start and I'll just get really anxious to ink because ink feels like progress and pencils just feel like I'm running circles. Which is not right, by the way. It's not correct. And it ends up making things a bit harder for me than they needed to be. Because here's the thing, the more you work your pencils, the less you have to figure it out what the hell is going when you're inking. And the less you figure out what the hell is going when you're inking, the better for you. The last thing you want is just to keep constantly like I was there. Think, oh, what the fuck is this? And by the way, it was a bridge. That's a bridge just like this one. There's a little bridge here. I from the very first time I made this comic, I felt like, which by the way, I think is a very common trope that goblins live on caves. I think that's like the original idea when you're on The Hobbit, the book and the movies. The goblins are on a cave. I don't remember if they get petrified if they see the sun, but the point is they don't like the sun. They live in a cave and all. But I felt like they had to have a city, you know, with huts and all. And well, you can, if you're boring by the way, but you can make a point that they don't need huts. They don't need roofs above their heads. You have a roof so it doesn't rain on your head. But it's my comic and I do whatever the fuck I want. And by the way, that's something that I thought when I was drawing. I was like, oh, do they need does it even make sense that they have roofs above their heads, that they have huts? Well, it does. He's my headcanon, and I'll defend it until I die. Okay, let's add some fiery stuff. Just some small fiery stuff here. Someone's gonna say, oh, it's a fire pit, or it's a fireplace, or it's a bonfire. Whatever, for me, it's a fire stuff. Okay, so rocks into here. Okay. It's done. I mean, it's not entirely done, but it's getting done. Alright, alright, alright. It is as I say. I cannot just go back here. It will fuck up the. I mean, I can and I will. I will exactly right now, but I'm just saying that I cannot just go back, for instance, and put my hand here. So I'll put my hand here. Is it dry? That was dangerous. Oh yes, it's dry. So I don't know what exactly happens. But if you draw, if you're like an artist that draws, you probably have the same problem that I do. That things tend to find a tangent. And it's not good, by the way, to have tangents. It's good to avoid them. But it's weird how much they just tend to just go full tangent. By the way, here we have a thing, alright? I've mentioned that this is gonna be entire. Just gonna black out a lot of stuff. Which means that this specifically building cannot have just sticks on top of it, because then you wouldn't be able to see it. Okay. No, that's what I say by working your pencils, because I have no idea what the fuck is this. But okay, let's just think the way it is. I guess it's a house. If it wasn't a house, it's gonna be a house now. And what's in front of it is a house. Okay. As you can see, I'm quite tired, so I lost all care in the world. Okay. also don't want to make like this ultra long video. It will probably be, but still I don't want to make it. So there's a bridge over here. Oops, it's dry. Clean it. And dip it in the ink. Okay, that's enough. Oh look. That's quite something. I don't know if you guys can see it, but it seems like the nib picked some hair, some of my hair. Anyway, it doesn't matter. You can just continue. Look, half of the... Just as they say, knowing is half of the battle, the other half's like extreme violence and all. And here it's not different. Half of this is, oh, which order I'm gonna do stuff. It's really a lot of the drawing, especially the inking. You gotta figure out the order that you do, and there's no right order to do that, but with time you're gonna be like, oh, I'd rather do it like this. I'd rather do it like that. And you'll find the best one for you. Alright. Okay, so let's add some rocks here. Something behind this and this shield here. Okay, that's because it was behind this little thingy. A lot of the details is gonna be just lost, so it's really important when you draw something that you have at least a notion of how big is gonna be the final version of it, or how far from it people will look, because it will spare you of a lot of work that will just be unnoticed. And I know you probably don't want to hear this. Probably, if you're an artist, you probably, like me, just want to make all the best possible product ever. So good, so great, so far. But this is something, you gotta understand the level of detail you're gonna put on your piece, because otherwise you're just gonna bloat it. It's gonna be a bloated piece. It's gonna kill you, and it sometimes can even make it worse. And if you had simplified the detail, because sometimes you can just take away the focus. It can clash with another, with other parts of your comic or your illustration. So detail is important, but you gotta understand how to do it. You gotta understand exactly what you're doing, when you're doing, why you're doing, Okay, so let's make this one in the background. This almost feels like a watchtower. I like goblins. They are angry, they're short, they have big noses, like me. I also like dwarves. Actually, I really like dwarves. I make a point to play as a dwarf in every game that I play where I have the chance. I've beaten Dragon Age, Inquisition, like 6 different times, all of them with dwarves. And if you know it, you're probably thinking that's insanity, because dwarves have a single class less than the other races, because dwarves cannot be mages, which is good because I like being a mage. Meaning I've beaten this game 3 times with each class. 3 times as a warrior, 3 times as a rogue. Or thrice, if you like to speak broken English like I do. As I draw the story, I realize it can be a distracting structure. It has so much details. Well, maybe when I black it out, because I'm gonna add black to those things. Maybe when I black it out, it will be better, but for now I feel like it will be. It would work better if I did not draw as much detail as I am. Okay, so when it comes to houses, I guess there's basically 2 of them to still do it. So let's go. Okay. Now I'll add detail here. There's a lot of information here. Clean it. Dry it. Or I guess this is also cleaning it. And dip it again. You're probably thinking that this video is too long. And you're right, actually. It's probably been an hour, I guess. But I'm gonna be honest with you. I think this format is actually good for me. You know, I have ADH. Is it ADH, ADHD? And I keep getting up and stranding around the house when I'm drawing. And I never manage to do anything because of that. And so, the fact that I have to keep here talking, to stay here talking to you about about the comic and random stuff, well, it's actually working for me because it forces me to stay here and draw. I cannot escape me. Look, I'm gonna add some. Alright, okay. Okay. Well. Look, there's some things you don't do when you're drawing wood. Well, at least I don't. You feel free to do it. I don't draw the entire grain of the wood because it's excessive and will probably just distract your reader. Is that thing? Not every detail is a good detail. Some details just look, they don't work. See, when I say that I think I'm quite blind because I keep approaching this. I don't have an eyesight problem. I mean, I do. I would need to wear glasses, but I don't because I don't like them. This is probably gonna bite me in the ass someday in my life, but since this is a borderless panel, I'm gonna finish it here between those two. Okay, let's see how long we've been here. Oh, almost an hour. Nice. So, let's see. While I clean this, let's see if there's anything else. Okay, I need to do something here. And oh yeah. Then I'm gonna do this thing. I'll just add something. Goblins are not known for keeping their infrastructure together, so okay. I wanna start here. I don't think I'm gonna take a lot longer here. While I'm doing this, here what I fiddle with is drying, so I'll be able to, you know. Oh, it's a moth. Okay, let's move here. The point is just to add a little of transition. Instead of hatching stuff, it's just some transition between the black and the white of the page. I'm not gonna. I probably will add a bunch of gray here. It's probably just gonna be a general wash, everything on the same tone of gray. Okay. Well, now it's the bad part. After you finish this, make sure to dry your nib very well. Okay. If you don't, it will rust. It's actually also good to wash it, which I'm gonna do it after I finish this. I realize I haven't picked my inking brush. Oh, great. Yeah, I don't seem to find it. Alright. No problemo. I'll figure it out. I'll use a line one. This is a line brush. Oh, I use it as a line brush. As you can see, it's quite thin. Now add the detail. I don't usually make line art with brushes. I don't feel like I have the needed skill for that. Anyway, what I'm going to do here is block the contour. Oh, by the way, if you paint with any other media like watercolor or acrylics, don't use your brushes for that. For this, don't use your watercolor brushes for inking if you're gonna do it, because the ink's never gonna get away. Ever. More ink. More ink, more fun. I'm not a very precise person with this. My hands are quite shaky. I have heavy hands for drawing. I usually break a lot of pens because I just put a lot of pressure on it. But hey, I'm doing my best. Also, I could just do it digitally. Honestly, I'd rather not. It will 100% be better, by the way, to just do it digitally. Would give me way less trouble. I would just pick the bucket and just fill it. But I'd rather not. As I told you, I'm old and I'm stubborn. Okay. It's all coming together. Let's go. I don't have the needed precision to do that in a very skillful way, but I can make it good enough. Well, I'll leave this for last. I don't have the patience to do it now. Okay. Alright, now it's the last, right? I told you I'll leave it for last, I'll have to do it. And I could just very well grab a fine liner and finish it. But told you guys I will do it with ink. I'm gonna do it with ink. God, that's so stupid. Such a terrible reason. Let me get a harder brush. I don't have the needed sensibility to do it. I'm not that good of an inker. This brush is harder, so I don't need to worry much about pressure. It's not that good with detail, but still. It's about doing it. In a realistic way. I have 2 jobs, I don't have time for this bullshit. Alright. Let's mess with here. By the way, here I could just go over the edge. This here is not gonna show on the page. So I could just, be careless and just go over it. Where's the fun in that? All right. And you're probably thinking, all right, what? I've finished nothing, right? And that's true. But since I contoured everything with a normal brush, I can just pick the flat brush. Just feel it. See? Nice and easy and painless. You know, it took us an hour and a half. Is it an hour and a half? No, already. There's some ink bowl there. I think I'm just gonna go back with the hard brush. I mean, it's no point for me to just worry about all those details and just lose it because I'm in a hurry, right? So yeah, go back with the brush as many times as I need to. By the way, probably I won't finish this this video, and I understand it's almost finished yet, but I think I'm gonna add some hatching. Oh, sorry. And hatching takes a long time. And by the way, I hate hatching. So it would probably be a video of me just saying nothing, which would maybe be better. Okay. King. Okay. I think I can just finish with the flat brush now. Here. Here. And that's it. It's done. I can't believe it. Oh my god. What? Well, that's it. It took me actually a lot longer than I expected, but it is done. I guess the only thing I need to do is erase the pencil lines behind it, but I'm not gonna do that because there's fresh ink on the page and it's gonna smudge all over it. But when I do it, when I go and correct whatever the hell I need to correct here, I'll stitch the results. But thanks for watching. If you're here after more than an hour, it was nice having you here with me. Even though you're just a camera and I'm talking to a camera like an insane person. Goodbye.